successful, everything that I listed earlier, 100%.
And they don't cheat, right?
Yeah, it's possible. Why is it funny?
So for women to come along and pretend they give a about the fact that most men are basically invisible. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV. I'm your host Jake, and today I'm going to be going through Andrew Tate's appearance on StandOut TV. Now, StandOut TV, for those of you who haven't seen it, is an awesome YouTube channel where they set up dates between Chian, Reynolds, and various different guys. Now, obviously, Tate, being the entertainer that he is, went on the show and split the pack with some of his more controversial opinions. So I'm going to be breaking down some of those more controversial opinions. Might not rub everybody the right way, but if you guys have been watching the channel, you'll know that here at Rattlesnake TV, I keep it 100. I discuss these topics through the lens of reality, and I don't mince my words. So without further ado, let's get into these clips.
Very nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi.
You look really nice.
Thank you. Let's do two kisses. 1, 2.
Oh, very nice to meet you. What's
Very
your
nice to
name?
meet you. Andrew Tate. What's your name?
Andrew. Nice to meet you. Chian.
Chian.
Or Chian Reynolds, if you're doing this whole
Chian Reynolds. We're gonna do official.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice to meet you.
Cheers.
So good first impressions here, and as you guys will know, first impressions are everything. He walks in confidently. He's obviously a pretty confident guy. Uses those kinesthetics to shake her hand, lightly touch her shoulder, tell her how many kisses they're gonna do. Boom, boom, kiss, kiss, and the date's off to a cracking start. He's also dressed up really nicely, and women are very cognizant of this stuff. Women know their fashion so much better than men. They can tell from across the bar how much your outfit is worth straight away. And you can guarantee, no doubt, Chian Reynolds knows exactly what's up. She knows that his shit's expensive.
Hey, where are you from?
I'm American, but I lived in England for a long time. I lived in a very prestigious part of the UK. I don't know if you've ever heard of Luton.
Very
Prestigious.
Yeah.
Yeah, #1.
Luton. Okay. Was not expecting that.
So I was in Luton for a while, and now I live in Europe, so I've just come in, yeah.
Okay, because your accent, it's like really different, isn't it?
It's pretty mixed up. I'm like a street dog, my dear. I've been here, I've been there. Half American, half English, half Luton, half everything else.
A bit of a mix.
Bit of a mix.
That's cool.
What about you? You have a mix, no?
Yeah, my family, we're Caribbean and English.
So the Caribbean side's the crazy side? Or,
Nice.
the English side's the crazy side?
I'd say the Caribbean's the fun side.
Fun
a bit
side?
of spice.
So you're fun and crazy?
Not crazy.
I mean, it's the beginning of the day, you can't lie.
Do I look like I'd lie to you?
Yes.
I'm not a liar, actually.
You're not a liar. Everything you tell me for the rest of this episode is going to be a complete truth.
Yeah.
Promise me.
Yeah.
Say I promise.
I promise. No, I really promise.
We'll see.
All honest thoughts and opinions.
We'll see. All right, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, a few things to break down here. So first of all, from the jump, he's trying to create an air of mystery about him. He's trying to develop the fantasy in her head. And it's very important to understand that women are fantasy driven. Men are very aesthetically driven. We love looks, whereas women get off on the narrative. So he's saying, I've been here, I've been there. He's keeping her guessing about where he's from and who he is. Secondly, and this is a really typical one, and anybody can use this one. He said, so is the Caribbean side or the English side the crazy side? Very easy one to use. If you're ever at a bar and you're talking to a girl, you can pick out anything. You can say, oh, only crazy girls do that. You ordered a vodka lime soda, that means you're crazy. Or you're wearing a Louis Vuitton, only crazy girls wear Louis Vuitton. You can almost guarantee that if you deliver it in the right way, it'll be a really good in for a playful and fun conversation. And we all know that girls just want to have fun. You don't want to be boring. You want to make sure above everything that it is a fun interaction. Thirdly, he does what's called a compliance test. He makes her work to prove that she's not a liar. And then he says, promise me you're not a liar. And she says, I promise. All of these tactics are used to build his frame. He's flipped the script on her. This is her show and she's meant to be grilling him. But instead, he's come in really confidently. He's building that fantasy. He's being nice and playful, and then he's making her comply. And now, because of all of these different techniques he's used, she's now qualifying for him rather than him qualifying to her.
So what do you do?
Let me think of a lie. Give me a second.
No, you can't lie.
You have to tell the truth. I don't have to tell the truth.
Why?
We already agreed you're telling the truth. There's only one of us can tell the truth. One of us can lie.
That's not good stuff.
I'm a shoe salesman. I sell shoes, socks, shoe accessories, polish, etc., etc.
Yeah?
Yeah, I sell shoes. Yeah.
You good at it?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
I'm surviving. Sold 2 pairs of shoes yesterday. Life's good.
Okay, that's good. He's a liar. So tell me a bit about you, Andrew.
I'm not comfortable opening up too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, you know, you might work for John Law and the government.
No.
I have to be careful what I say.
Oh, so it's not commitment issues?
It's not commitment issues. It's more just like legality issues.
Oh, okay.
I like to go to church. I'm a man of God. Play Scrabble.
This is such a fantastic example of him keeping the fantasy alive, and she'll act like she doesn't like it, but you can tell she's loving every moment of it. And the what do you do question is such a good example of this, because one of the worst things you can do as a guy is answer that question directly. If a woman asks you, what do you do? You never, ever, ever go into a spiel about how you're an accountant and how you saved your company X amount of money in the last financial year, yada, 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 boring bullshit. They don't care what you do. All they care about is that you make money and you have a job. What Tate does so fantastically here is he doesn't give it away. He builds the fantasy, and he tells this lie about what he does. And it's not a malicious lie, it's a playful lie. It's a game that they can both play. And let me make a quick diversion here. There's a book called A Billion Wicked Thoughts, which is a book by a bunch of engineers from Google who analyzed billions of Google searches. And what they did was they took the pornographic searches and they separated them into men and women. Obviously, men were totally aesthetic based, but women searched for literary representation, which means to get off, they were reading things. So it goes to show that women are narrative based. They like the fantasy. They like the build up. They like to build the story in their head. So if you just give everything away all at once, it's an instant turn off.
Because males have always been promiscuous. Right?
But there's actually a lot of men that are like good, loyal men, just so you know.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know very good men.
Would you deem them high value men?
Oh, absolutely. Successful, everything that I listed earlier, 100%.
And they don't cheat, right?
Yeah. It's possible. Why is it funny?
I think that if a man has options over a long enough time frame, he's going to eventually probably explore one of them options. Now, I'm not saying he's going to love another woman. I'm saying that when a man's in love, he only loves one girl. I agree with that. I believe in love. I believe a man cares about a chick. I believe a man should take care of a woman. I believe he should come home to the same place every day. I believe all those things. However, I think if a man truly has options, truly, that both the man and the woman understand that at some point he's going to explore those options.
No, listen, if I'm with you, do you think I'm going to allow you to explore other options? It's either you're with me or you're not. Go be single then.
Cool.
Like what? But realistically, what self-respecting woman is going to sit there and tolerate you?
I don't cheat. I don't cheat.
Okay,
I'm a
but
good
you're
man.
saying,
I don't
but
cheat.
What woman is going to if you have all these other options?
No.
Because I'll tell you what's more powerful, what's more alpha,
Yeah.
and what's more attractive, and what's more high value
Correct.
is a man that can respect his woman. Yeah, love her, not cheat on her, not disregard her, not see himself above her, not see him as, you know, she's his slave or anything like that. See her as an equal, treat her with respect, and put on that. That's more powerful, a partnership, two people. Not, oh, I'm a man, I have options, I'm going to explore them.
My point is, you completely misunderstand me. I'm saying at a certain point, females aren't even interested in loyalty. Do you think all the girls with Dan Bilzerian think he's loyal? I'm not saying every girl will go with him. I'm talking about all these celebrities, X, Y, Z, at high enough value, when they have options, they will explore them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's just calling a spade here. I mean, look, there are two lenses in which you can view the world. The first lens being the let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya and communism works just great lens. And then there's the lens of reality and how the world actually works. The first lens sounds great on paper, and it's really easy to say all these platitudes and sound really good to your friends, but the second lens requires a lot more difficult conversations and requires accepting a lot of deeply uncomfortable truths. And what Tate's saying here is one of those deeply uncomfortable truths. At the upper echelons of society, men being unfaithful happens more than you could possibly imagine. These athletes and entertainers and CEOs and millionaires and billionaires, etc., you can guarantee many of these men are exploring their options. And that's not to say that all of them are doing it, because it really just depends on what kind of values you have. But if you think that this stuff is not happening, I'm sorry, but you are simply naive. Like, let's use Tiger Woods for an example. He had like busloads of Swedish models waiting for him after his PGA tours. And then when it comes out that he explored his options, everyone is pretending that they're all like up in arms and so shocked about it. I can't imagine how many conversations happened around dinner tables. Can you believe that Tiger Woods cheated on his wife? Crazy, isn't it? And furthermore, with these high value men, the athletes and entertainers and CEOs, etc., what you have to understand is that these guys have a public persona and then a private life. And often they move very differently in their public persona than they do in their private life. And there are ways that they can do things very privately. They can go to luxury hotel parties and mansion parties with all of their rich friends. They can use high-end escorts. They can have women sign non-disclosure agreements. That's just the way that things work once people are at a certain status. So Tate is just literally calling a spade here. And he's looking at things through the reality. And the reason why he can do that is because he's lived that. He is at that upper echelon of society. He has friends and connections who are there as well. And he knows how how these things work. Whereas Cheyenne, whilst I'm sure her intentions are good, and she raises a great point, there is unquestionably value in a man just being loyal to his wife and being a family man, and that's a very honourable thing to do. But in reality, that's oftentimes not how it works. And whilst I can appreciate that she would know these men and she would have interacted with these men, I do find it quite funny that she says that they don't cheat. Because whilst that might be the case, if they were doing it, they wouldn't be telling you, Cheyenne.
So have you not experienced mental health? No.
Zero.
Okay, so how do you cope with stress and situations? Express your emotions when you're frustrated or when you're stressed.
Good question. And if I'm stressed or I'm frustrated, then I understand it's my time to perform. The man who goes to the gym every single day, regardless of how he feels, will always beat the man who goes to the gym when he feels like going to the gym. And it's player versus player. And let me tell you something. As much as you want to sit here and disagree with me, it's women who decide who the winner is. You will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. You'll choose the man with all his money right.
I like a dad bod, personally.
Okay, well, that maybe you're an exception because you're an angel. But in general, we're talking in generalizations because exceptions do not disprove the rule. Females will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. Females will choose the man who's got his money right. Females will choose the man who can fix any problem. Females will choose the man when they can go to him and say, everything's can you fix this? And he says yes without panicking. That's who women want. Women decide who the winner is. Women don't want the man when you come to him with your problems and he goes, oh, I'm too stressed today. Tell me tomorrow. No. Women don't want that.
But women also don't want a dickhead.
But having your life in order doesn't make you a dickhead.
Can we validate men that have...
Completely. If you have mental health...
So we can't go player. Just validate men that have mental health issues.
Absolutely. Okay. Men who have mental health issues, I wish them the best in the world. The male world is more competitive than you could possibly imagine. And it's the women who pick the winners. So I find it very interesting that a woman sits here to me and says, no, men are allowed to sit around and do all and feel sad. And those are the men they ignore when they DM.
No.
Those are the men they ignore. They ignore them all.
No, actually, can I just chime in here? So, for example, everything that you've said, you've possessed, you've proved your point, right? But as a high-value woman, if I respect and love my partner, I'm not putting that pressure. I would say, babe, do you know what? You can have a little rest. Like, there are women that actually enable men to process that emotion.
Agreed.
But yeah, so we'll still go back to tomorrow. Okay.
Agreed.
Let's go back to work. But there are good women out there that don't put that pressure. I feel like your reality on women is warped because of a certain caliber of women. Yes, it is.
I agree. You're right. But you're missing a very vital point of that story. You're right. But as a high-value woman, before you say to that man, you can have a day off and you're allowed to be sad today, you will only even get with him. Let me change that. You will only even acknowledge he exists if he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that. Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you. The man who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time, you won't reply to him. Neither will any other female. So for women to come along and pretend they give a fuck about the fact that most men are basically invisible. There is not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told to f***. Most men are absolutely and utterly invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men because I dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to. So if you just sit here and say, I'll get a big G, a boss, a millionaire, and let him have a day off, very nice of you. I'm sure you would. Yeah. But if a guy who wanted to have days off all the time, he never would have got important enough in the first place to attract a woman like you. And that is the reality. As a man, it's player versus player. It's ultimately competitive. And as a man, you have to outcompete the other men who are prepared to get up and do it anyway. That's how it works.
Facts. Man, this is when Tate is at his absolute best. And I do love the entertainer, the what color is your Bugatti and the top G and all that sort of stuff. It's funny as hell and it's entertaining, but this is when he's at his absolute best. And this is why he's so unbelievably popular with young men. It's because he knows how to speak directly to them. Because he understands the plight of the everyday man. The things that he just said directly addresses the pain point of your everyday Tom, Dick and Harry. Any good salesman can look at his target audience, find out what the need is, and then directly hit that pain point. And that's exactly what he does with young men. And I don't just think that it's a sales tactic, because you can tell that when he talks about this stuff, he genuinely cares about this issue. And not to mention, he is 100% correct about this. Cheyenne, whilst again her intentions I'm sure are good, she would not know the first thing about a regular man. She would never even interact with them. She would not even know that they exist. And that sounds harsh, but that is simply the paradigm that beautiful women exist in. They don't really need to care. The only men that she would surround herself would be high value men. So the lens in which she would view men's mental health is one of an alpha male. And I actually have a theory about this, and I'm interested to know what you guys think about this theory. So let me know in the comments. I think that women conflate their desire and their fantasy to break down the walls of an alpha with men's mental health issues. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Once again, the book A Billion Wicked Thoughts that I was talking about before, it draws on the fact that women are obsessed with the fantasy, with the narrative, and they actually managed to understand the basic plot of the female pornographic fantasy. And that is, innocent, well-intentioned woman has an encounter with a beast of sorts and manages to tame him. And there were 5 different kinds of beasts that came up in these searches: vampire, werewolf, pirate, billionaire, and surgeon. And it all makes sense when you think about the movies that women are obsessed with. 50 Shades of Grey, like I mentioned before, she's this innocent, well-intentioned woman, he's this crazy corporate billionaire, and she manages to tame him. Twilight, literally a vampire movie. 365 Days, which is a movie about this guy who's a mafia boss who takes this woman hostage and keeps her prisoner for a whole year until eventually they fall in love or whatever. So when a woman is with an alpha who doesn't show his emotions and who is emotionally unavailable and works all the time and trains all the time, when he lets his walls down a little bit, that is the female fantasy. But there's a big difference between that and then a man who's an overgrown baby and overly emotional. And this is where I think that the message gets so conflated. Women will say they want men to be emotionally available and they want men to be able to cry. And then men go and do that and they cry all the time, show their emotions all the time, and women are repulsed by them. So for me, that's where those two messages get mixed up. Women fantasize about that alpha masculine beast that has the ability to let their walls down and only they get to see it. They have the capacity to be tender and to be civilized, but only for her. Another great example of this is Game of Thrones with Khaleesi and Khal Drogo. Khal Drogo is the ultimate beast. He's a warrior warlord, but then with her, she's the moon of his life, and he's tender with her. Why do you think women love that storyline so much?
So you give your money away?
I have a charity, which I own, which takes care of street dogs in Romania. So I rescue dogs.
That's really lovely.
Thank you. See, we're getting along now.
Oh, that's really nice. See, look, it's much better.
That's
like,
right.
do charity work, glasses are off.
We're getting there.
Actually connecting with a real human.
I'm a real human.
You look really nice. Yeah, and you smell nice.
Thank you. I'm, dressed up for you, of course.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see someone make the effort, you know?
Where I'm from, in Eastern Europe, I always wear a suit because we can carry weapons over there. Here in London, it's a little bit different. We have to take security with us. But where I'm from, you have the jacket because you have the strap. It's different game.
So do you walk around with a weapon? No.
Wait.
Yes.
Enemies are watching. Listen, I'm ready. Let's leave it at that.
See, this kind of relates to what I was just saying before. Throughout this date, he's been that alpha beast type character. He's been holding his frame really well. And then for that brief moment, he lets his walls down a little bit. He takes his glasses off. She's able to look into his eyes. And then she asks him what he does with his money. And then he says that he helps street dogs. It shows that he has that tender side. And for that brief moment, he let her in. But then he put the wall straight back up and says, no, I need to stay strapped. That is the way you need to play it. You can't give it all away. You give it away in little bits. The walls come down a little bit, come back up. Come down a bit, come back up. It keeps the fantasy alive. You don't give everything away, but you also don't seem like a tin can.
If a man goes to a woman with his issue, it's not a serious issue. I feel sad, my ex left me, some dumb shit.
Yeah, but
right?
women can give a
They're trying to kill me, I need a gun now. You don't text some chick in your phone. You text your boys, because only your men who can help you. I'm in Ukraine, the Russians have invaded, I need a way out. Who's got a car? Oh, Cheyenne's coming. Peugeot 206. Get fucked. Don't lie to me. Though the women can't help you, women cannot help you.
That's an extreme situation. That
but life's extreme. As a man on the edge, life is extreme, my dear. Life is extreme. Yes, life is extreme.
That was no.
That was yes. Don't lie to me.
You see, this is what he does really well. He has these debates with girls and heated debates about heated topics, but he always keeps it fun and playful. And this is a very, very underrated skill because a lot of guys out there would be going and listening to Andrew Tate and then going on dates with girls and having these debates and then just giving them the ick straight away because you have to know how to push and pull. You can push with the opinions and the debates and you can challenge the girls. Girls love to be challenged, but then you have to pull back. You have to validate them and their opinions and be playful and fun. It's a balance that you have to strike. And Tate understands women very well, so he's really good at it.